always thought death would come quietly. A moment of darkness, a flicker of consciousness, and then nothing. But death came to me on a stormy night in orbit over Proxima b. And she was beautiful. Her name, I'd later learn, was Kareth. But when I first saw her, she was just a silhouette against the violet nebula, holding a plasma rifle aimed directly at my heart. The assignment. I was a maintenance officer aboard the Aurora Dawn, an old freighter that ferried supplies between colonies. Nothing glamorous. I wasn't a soldier or a hero, just a man trying to make enough credits to keep breathing. After Earth's fall and the Exodus Wars, humanity spread across the stars like broken glass. We lived in fragments, little outposts on moons and planets, clinging to life with thin atmospheres and thinner hopes. That night, I was running diagnostics on the ship's main reactor when the lights flickered. Not unusual. The ship was ancient, and our captain's idea of a tune-up was hitting the console until it stopped sparking. But then the lights went completely out, and the hum of the reactor died. Silence. I checked my wrist display. No power, no comms, no life support readings. Then I heard it, the faint hiss of an airlock cycling. Someone was coming aboard. "Captain," I whispered into my comm static. I grabbed the nearest thing that resembled a weapon, a plasma wrench, and made my way to the cargo bay. The emergency lights flickered to life, painting everything in red. And there, standing among the crates of titanium ore, was a tall figure in black armor, her helmet reflecting the red glow like molten glass. She turned. Her visor hissed open, revealing a face both alien and familiar. Sharp features, skin faintly luminescent, eyes that shimmered like liquid mercury. And that's when she aimed the rifle at me. To the assassin. "Human," she said, her voice modulated but melodic. "Elias Wren. You are the target." Froze. "Target? I'm a mechanic. You've got the wrong guy." Her eyes narrowed. "Your genetic signature matches the one in the archive. There is no mistake." The plasma core of her rifle hummed to life. One squeeze of the trigger and I'd be nothing but vapor. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Look, whatever you think I did, I can explain. Fix engines. I don't even have clearance to fly one." Her finger tightened around the trigger, and then she stopped. She stared at me, as if something invisible had punched through her certainty. The weapon lowered a fraction. "Your eyes," she whispered. "They are the same." "The same as what?" She didn't answer. She just stood there, trembling, something you don't expect from a trained killer. Then she turned the weapon away. "Get down," she hissed. "Now." I hit the deck just as a blast tore through the cargo bay wall. Another figure entered, this one bulkier, clad in crimson armor. A mercenary. Not human either. His weapon sprayed blue energy bolts across the bay. Kareth moved like lightning, diving behind a crate and returning fire. The mercenary shouted in a language I didn't recognize. Sparks and plasma bursts lit up the air like fireworks. I scrambled for cover, clutching my wrench like it was a shield against gods. Then I saw Kareth leap forward, slide under a crate, and plant a shot directly into the mercenary's chest. His armor cracked, his body convulsed, and he collapsed, smoking, lifeless. Silence returned. Kareth stood there, breathing heavily, her rifle still raised. Then she turned to me again, weapon steady but not aimed. "They found you first," she muttered. "I was sent to end you quickly, to make it painless. But I cannot." I swallowed. "Then what are you doing here?" She hesitated. "Protecting you." 3. The past they erased. We sealed the cargo bay and restored emergency power. I followed her to the command deck, where she removed her helmet completely. Without it, she looked almost human, except for the faint bioluminescence tracing veins across her temples, and the way her pupils seemed to shift and reshape like liquid metal. "My name is Kareth," she said. "I was born on Zithera before it burned." I remembered Zithera from the news feeds years ago. A thriving alien world destroyed in a war with human colonists. They said the Zitherans had launched first. They said we only defended ourselves. But the truth was no one really knew or cared. "You were sent to kill me," I said, sitting on the edge of the console. "Why?" She stared out at the stars. "'Cause you are the key. Or rather, the code within you." I frowned. "Code?" She turned to me. "You carry the last strand of the Genesis protocol, the sequence that built the first hybrid DNA. Human and Zitheran. The project was buried after the war, but your existence proves it succeeded." I laughed nervously. "You're telling me I'm some kind of science experiment." "You are more than that," she said quietly. "You are both. The bridge between our species. My kind were told to destroy what remained of the experiment to prevent another war. But I have seen enough death. I chose not to repeat it." My head spun. I tried to process what she was saying, that my blood contained alien DNA, that I was the last remnant of a forbidden experiment. Sounded insane. Yet, looking into her silver eyes, I couldn't shake the feeling that she was telling the truth. "How did you even find me?" I asked. "The archive," she said. "It holds the genetic records of every being created under the Genesis protocol. But someone else accessed it too. Someone who wants you dead before the truth emerges." "The mercenary," I guessed. She nodded. "And he was not alone. For the hunt. Over the next 48 hours, we drifted through the nebula, hiding in the ion clouds to scramble scans. Kareth repaired what systems she could, her hands moving with precise alien grace. I found myself watching her. Not just because she was otherworldly, though she was, but because there was something human about the way she frowned when circuits didn't cooperate or sighed after hours of silence. A night, if you could call it that in space, we talked. She told me about Zithera, the oceans that shimmered under twin suns, the crystalline forests that sang when the wind passed through them. And I told her about Earth, the blue marble that used to hang in the sky, now a toxic wasteland. For the first time in years I felt connection, even if it came from the person who'd nearly killed me. But peace doesn't last long in the void. On the third day the proximity alarm screamed. A fleet of hunter ships emerged from the nebula, crimson signatures, the same as the mercenary. "They've found us," Kareth said, slamming her fist on the console. "Multiple heat locks. How many?" "Too many." We jumped to the escape pods, but she stopped suddenly, her eyes scanning the readouts. "They're not after the ship," she murmured. "They're after you." Before I could respond, she grabbed my wrist and injected something into my arm, a cold burn spreading through my veins. "What the hell was that?" "A cloaking serum," she said. "It hides your genetic signal for a short time. If they scan, they won't detect you." "And what about you?" She smiled faintly. "They'll detect me instead." I realized what she was doing. "No. Kareth, you can't." She pressed her forehead against mine, a gesture I later learned was sacred among her kind. "Your survival means hope for both our species," she whispered. "Go." Then she shoved me into the pod and slammed the hatch. I saw her running toward the bridge as the pod ejected into the void. Through the viewport, I watched the Aurora Dawn turn, engines blazing, charging headlong into the enemy fleet. A burst of light followed. Blinding, beautiful, final. V. The message when I woke, I was drifting over Proxima B, picked up by a salvage crew. They told me the Aurora Dawn was gone. Vaporized. No survivors. For weeks I said nothing. The medics ran scans, asked questions, probed my identity. I told them I was a maintenance officer, nothing more. I buried the truth. But one night, as I lay in the infirmary, my wrist display flickered. Static, then a voice. "Elias," it said. Her voice. The screen filled with her image, recorded before the final battle. "If you are hearing this, then I have fallen. But my death will not be in vain. Within your blood lies the truth, the memory of what was done to both our peoples. Find the archive. Uncover it. Let them see." The message ended with coordinates. A derelict station on the edge of Zithran space. I stared at the numbers for hours before I decided. I wasn't going back to human space. Not yet. 6. The archive. The station hung over a dying moon, its metal hull cracked and twisted, like a tomb drifting in the dark. I docked my shuttle and entered the airlock. Inside, the corridors were lined with frozen bodies, human and Zithran alike. Scientists, soldiers, ghosts of a forgotten war. I found the core chamber, a massive sphere pulsing with faint light. As I approached, the systems flickered to life. Holographic panels unfolded, displaying streams of genetic data, timelines, images of Earth and Zithra before the wars. And then a video log. A human scientist appeared, wearing the insignia of the United Earth Directorate. "Project Genesis, final report," she said. "Hybrid prototype successfully integrated. DNA stabilized. Subject name, Elias Wren." My breath caught. It was me. A child in a containment field, glowing faintly. The scientist continued. "He represents the potential for unity. But Command has deemed the project too dangerous. Orders received. Terminate all subjects and purge all data." The recording ended. I stood there in silence, staring at the archive. Every lie we'd been told about the war, about the aliens, about who started it, all of it was buried here. And in me. Then a voice echoed behind me. "Well," it said, "you found it." Turn. A man stepped from the shadows, human in a black directorate uniform. His eyes were cold. "We've been looking for you, Wren." He aimed a plasma pistol at my chest. "You should have stayed hidden." Before I could speak, a flash of blue light tore through him. He dropped instantly. And standing behind him, bruised, burned but alive, was Kareth. 7. "The return. I thought you." I started, but words failed. She smiled faintly. "You underestimate Zithran armor." I laughed, relief flooding me. "You insane, beautiful alien." She helped me access the archive's uplink. Together we broadcasted the data across all known networks, human and Zithran alike. Every secret, every lie, every proof that our species had been manipulated into war by the Directorate and its alien counterpart. By the time the fleets arrived, it was too late to silence it. The truth was out. We fled the station before they destroyed it, hiding again in the nebula where we'd first met. "What now?" I asked her, watching the stars through the viewport. She turned to me, her eyes softer now. "Now we wait. Truth is a slow weapon, Elias. It takes time to reach the heart. And us." She smiled. "We survive. Together. That is enough." 8. The revelation weeks turned into months. The news spread across the colonies. Protests, rebellions, ceasefires. For the first time in decades, humans and Zitharans were speaking, not shooting. Kareth and I stayed hidden, traveling between outposts, helping where we could. Sometimes people looked at me and saw a savior, sometimes a freak. But I didn't care anymore. One night, under the fractured rings of a distant moon, Kareth showed me a secret, a scar just below her ribs, faintly glowing. They made me too, she said. Not fully Zitharan, part human. I was their weapon. I was meant to end the last hybrid, you. My breath caught. So that's why you couldn't pull the trigger. She nodded slowly. Because in you, I saw myself. We stood there, two remnants of a failed experiment. Two beings created for war who chose peace instead. And for the first time since I could remember, I didn't feel like a mistake. Felt like the future. 9. The ending. It's been 3 years since the broadcast. The directorate has fallen. The old empires are gone. In their place, something new is forming. Fragile, uncertain but real. Kareth and I live on a small colony at the edge of the Perseus Arm. I fix engines again. She teaches children how to read the stars. Sometimes at night we sit beneath the glowing rings and talk about what could have been, and what still might be. She still carries her rifle. I still carry the scar from where she almost pulled the trigger. But between us there is no fear now. Only understanding. I often think back to that night on the Aurora Dawn. To the moment when death looked me in the eye, and chose mercy instead. That choice changed everything.